From the Marriott Marquis Hotel in the heart of Times Square in New York City, JBS presents exclusive television coverage of the 4th Annual Jerusalem Post Conference.
I believe we're all aware of the fact that we're seeing a shocking rise of incidents of anti-Semitism in the world today. We're seeing the erosion of support for Israel, even in Western nations. And yes, the world is filled with hypocrisy. Everyone, it seems, blames Israel vocally, vociferously. And when missiles strike from Gaza to Israel, as they have been for the past few days, the world is quiet. It's true. It's unfair. It's immoral. It's hypocritical. But what are we going to do about it? That is the key question. I don't want to explore how we got into this mess in the first place. I believe I have ideas how we got here, but I do want to explore at least one central way in which we can get out of it, in which we can begin to resolve these problems of anti-Semitism and, let's call it, hasbara. For years, we wouldn't admit that we had a problem of hasbara that plagued Israel and the world. For years, we tried to resolve it. Then, after we realized that there's a war of ideas going on that's as important as the military war, then we tried to throw money at it. We hired slick PR firms. We produced nice videos. We spent a lot of money. By we, meaning Israel, Jewish organizations as a whole. And as the Yiddish expression goes, in my opinion anyways, verfallen de Geld. And then with the success of the BDS movement that seemed to come from nowhere and that suddenly was everywhere, I think it hit upon us, finally. We have a problem. We have a problem that's very serious, and we need to find ways to resolve it. And in my opinion, again, I don't think we have the foggiest idea how to resolve it. We throw money at it, but money's not the answer. There's no shortage of Jewish money around. America is the richest Jewish nation, Jews in America, the richest than any period in Jewish history. And yet Holocaust survivors are going to sleep hungry. It's a shanda. The problem is not whether there are Jews with money. There are. The problem is leadership, vision. There's a shortage of commitment and resolve and vision. If we look at this issue most closely, we see very simply the number of Jews in the world is dwindling, and the number of committed Jews is dwindling even more. How many Jews are there in Venezuela, in Costa Rica, in Vancouver, in Orange County? There's the token non-Jew here. I don't have all the answers to the problem, but I believe I have one. And that is our need to build bridges of friendship and cooperation and partner with others, various groups and institutions in the non-Jewish world. I believe we have come to the point where we must admit and resolve We Jews cannot do it alone. That's a hard thing for us to take. But when you have a world simply with mathematics of dwindling numbers of Jews and dwindling numbers of committed Jews, you have to come to that realization. We need partners. We need to reach out, cultivate pro-Israel, pro-Jewish partners, and then to strategically leverage them, if you will, to become political friends as well. Now, this historically was the work and the duty of the foreign ministry in Israel. And I want to say there too, I think the foreign ministry is a sham in the past 10 years. Not because of the caliber of the personnel of the ambassadors. They are among the finest people that there is to defend Israel. The problems are other that I don't have the time to deal with, but let me give you just one example. We have an office in Korea. And a few weeks ago I was in Korea where spoke at the 5 main seminaries, the next generation, and at the major churches. One church, Yoida Church, which has 10,000 people there in each service. And they have 10 minyanim each day. And I met with the ambassador, a fine man, and I asked him, why is it, because I was told in advance, we've had an office there for a few years, there was no Yom HaAtzmaut party this year. Why? And he said to me, what is your budget, your income here in Korea? I said, well, we have a $500,000 budget in Korea. We have income of $170 million this year. And we've never had a down year, and we're growing at 15 to 20% each year. And we're giving away this year $90 million. So I asked him what, and he said, well, do you know what my budget for outreach to the community is? $26,000. Now, we spend $10 to $12 million on Hasbara through television alone, which is probably 10 times the budget that the Israeli Foreign Ministry gives just to television in America alone. We have 3 radio programs every day, or every week, 5 times a week, in Spanish and in English on 3,600 stations around the world with 16 million listeners. What is the Israeli Foreign Ministry budget? They don't have the kelim. They don't have the tools to do the job. And then we wonder, why are we delegitimized around the world? I began 38 years ago, I began the first evangelical Jewish conferences in America and the world. And then 34 years ago or so, I founded this organization called the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews. I'm not here to talk about my work. I'm not here to solicit support for our work. But this is the first conference in 33 years, I think, that I've ever been invited to speak at in Jewish life. And that's okay. Thank you to the Jerusalem Post. But my point is that the Jewish community has become so insular, and the institutions so sure of themselves, and based on past history, that we are still fighting last war We're not fighting the new war. And the most basic precept of fighting a war of the media, of delegitimacy, is making friends and having the friends join us, or sometimes vicariously doing the work. I began that organization 33 years ago with two purposes: to deepen the bonds between Christians and Israel, the Jewish people, and the Jewish roots of their faith, and two, to build a broad base of support for Israel and other shared concerns. That means that we started the Christian tourism industry. That means that we also work with Christians to fight persecuted Christians today in the Middle East. We need to work together. It's a two-way street. We need to reach out, build relationships, not see, as some Jewish groups, here's my j'accuse, some Jewish groups who've realized we have raised over $1 billion in 15 years from Christians to help Israel and the Jewish people. And obviously there are Jewish organizations that are aware of that, because some of the very organizations that rejected us and wouldn't even take an ad in their newspapers, we are now giving them millions of dollars. But these Jewish organizations that have come on board, many of them, I won't say all of them, see them, the Christians, as cash cows. Oh, there's money out there. Let's go get them. Or there's political support out there. Let's use them and manipulate them for their political support. That's not going to work. If anything, it will boomerang and create anti-Semitism. Nobody wants to be used, even for Israel. And so it's important that we reach out in partnership, and this is my main point, see pro-Israel Christians, the next generation of Christians in South Korea and in Brazil and all over the world where they are growing, where 10, 15 years ago, Latin America was almost entirely Catholic. Today, almost every country has around 30 to 35% Protestant and potential pro-Israel friends. It's simple. We need to reach out to them genuinely, to hear their concerns, for them to hear ours, and to join together strategically. It would seem so simple, and it is, and so beneficial to the world Jewish community. I am grateful to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to God, for frankly giving me the perseverance and the tenacity over these 33 years not to be considered a part of the Jewish community. There are protests against me from Orthodox rabbis who even refuse. We've built or fixed up 6,000 bomb shelters in Israel. And there are rabbis who say, and I have Orthodox smicha from Rabbi Yoshe Ber Soloveitchik Zal in Yeshiva University, and there are rabbis who attack me and say it is prohibited to go into that bomb shelter even during war because it was built by Goyim. My friends, we have got to have a sea change in our attitudes. We have to change. We have to reach out. We have to foster, forgive me for using this word because in Jewish circles it is seen very often as trivialized. We have to build love between us, respect, cooperation, and that's how we will fight and win the war.
We would be pleased to send a complimentary DVD of this program to anyone who wishes to support JBS, the Jewish Broadcasting Service, with a tax-deductible gift of $36, double chai or more, to the nonprofit organization Jewish Education in Media. Simply visit the JBS homepage and click on the Donate button to make a donation by PayPal or your credit card. And please indicate the program for which you would like a DVD. Or you can send your tax-deductible check made out to Jem, Post Office Box 180, Riverdale Station, Bronx, New York 10471. And again, please remember to indicate which program you would like to receive with our compliments. And we thank you for your kind support.